Hello everyone, this is me again, Asom Helmi. I'm a success partner with OBA Energy and I will be your moderator in today's webinar. Thanks a lot for joining us in today's 7-6 free webinar provided by OBA. Today's webinar is titled AI, Artificial Intelligence and No Code for Oil and Gas Professionals. Before we start our webinar, I would like to give a short presentation about our upcoming services plan. This is going to be a short presentation. And I also would like to remind people that over the past 40 days, people in Palestine and Gaza are facing a genocide. We do pray for their safe and for their lives, their losses. So I really encourage everyone here to not to stop talking about this genocide. This is really terrible. So regardless our upcoming services plan, this is our upcoming like courses, the 10th wave. We have 4 interesting courses. Stuck by prevention is going to be starting from the 18th in this month, November, and will last for the 23. The second course is electrical submersible pump design and operation. This is gonna start in the 2nd of December and will last to the 7th of December. The third course is well integrity management system. This is a very interesting course, very required in the oil and gas industry nowadays. This will be starting in the 23 of December also, and it's gonna last till the 28th of December. The last course in this wave of courses is the polymer injection modeling by CMG. This is also very required, especially by our ambassadors and our customers recently. This is gonna start by the 30th of December and end by the 4th of January. This is for our courses. I'd like to share with you also our price list table. As you see here, we have an early bird offer. This ends 1 week before the start of each course, so don't miss this offer. We also are adding 10 more percentage discount for our ambassadors, so this is interesting. Regarding a package discount, you can have like 50% discount over the 4 courses if you would like to get the package. So this is around $500. You can scan the QR code here in the screen to register in any of these courses, and also I sent now the link of registration form in the chat if you'd like to register in those courses. This is also a reminder that we have over 30 recorded courses in many specialties. As you see in this screen, 5 main bundles with each price of each course included in the list. We also recently have made an offer, very interesting offer for all our courses, our e-learning courses package. This is up to 60% discount for all the courses, and you also find some discounts on each package. Like reservoir engineering has a package, Regless and the rig operation also has a package. Same for the remaining courses in the G&G and production technology as well. This is also the scan code for this discount, and also you can also register in this discount in big sale in the QR in the chat area. You'll find the link. So a few rules for today's webinar. I have muted your microphones, so I'm sorry for that, but this is for clear explanation during the webinar. Also, please keep your camera closed. If you have any question, feel free to put it in the chat box. I will be reading this in the end of the webinar. Please, if you are joining using a name like Galaxy or something like iPhone or ZAS, please go rename yourself, as we will be sending certificates in 1 week after today's webinar. Today's webinar guest speaker, this is not his first webinar with us. This is the second one. I really encourage you to go visit our YouTube channel. You will find the first webinar as well. This webinar as well is live stream, so you can revisit this webinar actually at any time. So today's guest speaker is Engineer Alan. He is a consulting petroleum reservoir engineer with more than 20 years of international industry experience. He is the founder of Crowdfield as well. It's worth mentioning that this webinar and this series of webinars actually comes as a cooperation between our partner, Crowdfield. So Alan also has a master's degree in petroleum engineering from Imperial College London. So, Mr. Alan, thanks a lot for joining us today, and the stage is yours to start the webinar.
Great. Let me just go back to sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see.
Yes. Yes.
Do
Now
you see
share.
the pointer? Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Essen. It's a pleasure for me to be here again, reconnecting with all of you guys after that PVT webinar we had a couple of months ago. So today we're diving on a different topic. It's the exciting topic of AI and no-code applications for oil and gas professionals. So today is not a deep dive. There's no time for that. The goal for today's session is for me to walk you through a few examples so you can get a pretty good feel for the immense capabilities you can actually acquire and incorporate into your own workflows. Now, I do have a lot to cover, so I'm going to be rushing through quite a few of this stuff. So instead of a traditional slide presentation, I'm just going to jump on screen for a live demo so you can just watch as I go. Okay. So let me go back to this first step here, and we're going to kick things off with our friend ChatGPT. Now, I would assume that most of you, if not all of you, have already had the chance to play with it. If you haven't used it much yet, we're going to start with some fairly basic uses, and we're going to progressively build up from there, okay? Now, let me just increase the size so you can see on the screen. Let me know if it's not clear. So this is our interface. We have this message box here at the bottom, and we simply type away our prompt. A prompt is basically a written set of instructions we pass to the bot as if you were talking to a person. That's the whole motto of ChatGPT, right? It's just talk to a person, basically. Now, to save time, I'm not going to type right now. I'm just simply going to paste the prompt that I already created for this example. So let me just go back here to my notes and let me copy and paste the prompt, and I'm going to read it out loud. So the first prompt is write an email to John from IT. I'm still waiting for my IT ticket to be resolved. It's been 2 weeks. Can't make progress. Why have been so slow? I'm upset. Be polite and write in a professional tone. Now you can immediately notice there are a few typos in my prompt. There are some grammar errors. Overall, it's not the best writing, right? Now, precisely, that's one of the great things about ChatGPT. It's so smart that you don't need to agonize over your writing. It'll be able to see through those mistakes and still figure out what you want, right? So I already submitted that prompt, and this is the reply I got. It offered us a subject line, follow-up on IT support ticket resolution, and then the email itself. Dear John, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to follow up on the IT support ticket I submitted 2 weeks ago regarding blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, I have not yet received blah, 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 so I'm not going to read it all. I appreciate your attention to this matter, and I'm looking forward to prompt resolution. Thank you, blah, 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 blah. Now, this looks great to me. I got exactly what I wanted in a polite tone, which is what I asked, in a professional language. Now, let me bring a new prompt to that to change the tone a bit. And I'm going to prompt now, rewrite it in a friendly tone, talking to John who is my mate. So subject, hey John, need a little help with my tickets. Hey John, I hope you're doing well. I'm just reaching out about that IT ticket I put on a couple of weeks ago. Haven't heard back, blah, blah, blah. I get that you guys must be swamped over there. Appreciate your help, big time, mate, blah, blah, blah. So again, this looks great to me, exactly what I wanted. It's the same message, but with a much more relaxed tone, because now I'm talking to a friend and I asked through my prompt to relax the language a little bit. So this is exactly what I wanted. So this very basic couple of examples, you already can see that this is such a great time saver. Now, I personally find it very useful when trying to find the right selection of words in difficult conversations. For example, if you have a conflict with a workmate or someone in another team is holding you back because you're waiting for the data, you need to have the pay rise conversation with your manager, or a negative performance review you don't agree with, a promotion, etc. Right? So there's a few instances in which ChatGPT can become a great advisor in those tricky situations where you need to find the right words in the right tone. That's where I find it the most useful when it comes to generating text. Okay. Let me bring another example on generative text. And the example goes like this. So where do you go, my prompts? Write a statement about how oil and gas skills will keep being in high demand during the energy transition. Around 600 characters. Again, you don't need to agonize over the, how precise your text is, provided that the idea is clear enough. ChatGPT will be able to figure out what you want. And this is what I got as output: the energy transition, what people offer sustainable future, blah, 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 this deep understanding of energy system. So you have a paragraph, right? So that's great. So if you need an intro paragraph for your reports, for your blog, for a magazine article, no problem. ChatGPT is a great starting point that saves you heaps of time. Right? Now you can always iterate. You can ask for more or less. You can ask for a different tone. You can ask for specific emphasis, etc. Right? But it's a great starting point. Like for example, I can just rewrite this too long. Let's say rewrite it max 200 characters. Right? So oil and gas expertise remains vital during the energy transition, ensuring stability and aiding renewable integration. Okay, just a short snippet of text exactly conveying the message that I wanted. Now, how about this one? Now in Spanish. There we go. We have the same sentence written in Spanish. Now, let's say now in French. And again, in a split second, it spits out the same sentence now in French. So these are great use cases, right? Very powerful already. Now, the next powerful use case is summarizing text. So to show that example, let me go to my LinkedIn profile here. I'm going to search for a guy called Doug Sheridan. This is a guy I follow on LinkedIn. This guy provides commentary on the oil and gas energy sector. Very good commentary. I like and I follow him a lot. But this guy usually writes long form content. So let's grab this as an example. And what I'll do is I'm just going to grab this text here. And I'm just going to copy that and go back to my ChatGPT instance. I'm going to paste that text. And I'm going to go to the beginning and ask, actually, to summarize that stuff at the beginning. So give me 5 short bullet points with key takeaways, maximum 400 characters, and then the block of text. Okay, there we go. And immediately it starts spitting out my 5 points. Okay, now the beauty of this stuff is when you can scale this type of process. Now we're not going to get into automation and no-code tools to automate this stuff. But let me give you an idea. You can have a database in an Excel database or elsewhere with a bunch of long-form content, and you can actually connect with ChatGPT and connect your process to this summarization. So you can summarize, let's say, 100 pieces of long-form content and create a 5-point summary for each of those in a single workflow. So you can create that workflow, launch it, go for a coffee, and when you're back, you have your 5-point summaries for 100 long blog posts, for example. This is the kind of beauty that you get when you leverage AI with no-code tools to build workflows and automations. So there you go. As a starting point, we have these few simple examples where you can see that we have capability for error-free writing, correcting or proofreading, translating, summarizing text. It's amazing, isn't it? I think this alone is a game changer, especially if English is not your native language, like in my case. So yes, I do happen to find this extremely, extremely powerful. Now, all of these examples around the language model are level 1 capability. The really interesting stuff comes when we go to the next level, right? So let's move on now to see some more advanced examples. So I'm gonna go back to creating a new instance here in ChatGPT, and I'm gonna paste this prompt, and I'm gonna read it out loud for you while it processes the output. So, okay, let's submit that, and while it analyzes the prompts, I'm going to read it. As a reservoir engineer, your task is to use the exponential decline formula to generate a synthetic production profile for a gas field. Initial rate is 10 million SCF a day, and decline rate is 2% per annum. Provide your output in a table with year and rate for only the first 10 years, okay? Now, I'm very precise with what I want. Again, I do not agonize over the text itself, typos, grammar, commas, that sort of thing. ChatGPT is smart enough to figure it out, but I need to be precise as to what is it that I'm looking for as output. I want a table with 2 columns, year and rate, and I want a production profile that uses the exponential decline. So here it is. It manages to give me, here's the synthetic production profile for a gas field using the exponential decline formula with initial rate of 10 million SCF a day and decline rate of 2% per annum, exactly what I asked, right? Now I can take this table and I'm gonna paste it on an Excel file, which I already had pre-created. So that's the table that I pasted here, and I turn that into a graph, okay? Now, let's assume now that you do have this production profile already in an Excel database of yours. I used ChatGPT to generate a synthetic data set, but let's assume now we're gonna go the other way around. You do have your production profile, a historical production profile over a period of 10 years. And now what I want to do is to use ChatGPT to analyze this stuff and produce a forecast off of this trend. Now, this is the cool thing that you can do. You can come here. I'm actually going to, just for the sake of saving time, I'm not going to redo the entire thing because I have it saved here. I'm just going to show you what I did, and that is the exponential decline. So what I did here, not that one, is the forecast. Sorry, guys, that one. That's the one that I wanted to show you. So what I did here is to bring that as a screenshot. So you create a snip. I'm just going to create the beginning, but not wait for the output just for the sake of time. But this is what you do. You create a snip here, create a screenshot of that, and bring that thing. So this is my snipping tool. So this is what I captured from the screen. This is not a data set. This is not a file. This is nothing. This is just a screenshot that shows numbers in a table and a chart. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring it to ChatGPT. I'm going to create a new chat. I'm going to paste it there. And I'm going to prompt a way to create a forecast. So for example, you can create a forecast of this historical trend until year 15, for example, right? So it's gonna start analyzing that, and this is exactly what I was showing you here in the client. So I'm not gonna wait for that for the sake of time, but that's the chart, that's the prompt. This is historical gas production. Can you focus production? It's a little bit different to what I just typed in, but it's the same thing. And this is the output that I got. So that's our historical trend, which we took from there, and then it managed to produce a forecast off of that trend. So based on the historical gas production profile and the trend shown in the provided data, the forecasted gas production rates from year 11 to 15 are estimated as follows. And it gives you, values in a table, or you can ask to be in a table format, in this case, just dot points, but also it provides the chart itself. So we produce a production forecast off of a snapshot, which shows a historical trend. Okay. Now, let me go to another example here in the production decline VBA workbook that I have here. Now, this is what I want to do. I have, along the same lines of creating a production forecast of an exponential decline trend. So we have 2 cells here. initial rate and decline, which are two user inputs. So what I want to do is create a piece of code so I can run the code and generate that production profile. Okay, so what I do have here in my window is VBA exponential decline. So this is the prompt. Generate a VBA code snippet to generate production profile in column B. So that's my workbook, right? In column B, using the exponential decline formula, initial rate is in cell B1 and decline rate is in cell B2. Again, so you are very specific in the prompt to what you're providing, and then put the headers year and rate million scaff a day in cells A4 and B4 and write the profile for 10 years. That's the prompt, right? Now this is what I want to achieve in my worksheet. That's the prompt that I gave to ChatGPT, and this is the output that I got. Yeah, so it's being hidden because it's a historical save, but the code is 11. It was brought here. So I just pasted that code that it generated and no edits whatsoever to that piece of code. As a matter of fact, the fact that it doesn't show me because it's a historical save, and just for credibility, I'm just going to put it again here. Again, and I'm going to get that piece of VBA code. Okay, it's just going to take a little second, but in the meantime, I'm just going to show you that once the code is spit out here, right, that one, all you do is to copy that code and paste it into your VBA workbook. Now, the workbook that I'm interested in is this one, right? And that's the code that it spit out. Now, if you don't know about VBA, you can actually ask for instructions. It tells you here, you didn't even need to ask. To use this code, open Excel and press Alt F11. That brings this window here. Then you paste the code in a new module. So you just follow the instructions that it gives you if you don't know your way around VBA. So just for the sake of credibility, I'm going to delete that code and I'm going to copy the code that was just created. Copy code, copy it, and then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, paste. And without doing anything to it, I'm going to run it. So I'm going to put side by side the worksheet and the code that GPT generated for me, and I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it there, and that's it. That's the production profile created. So let me chart so you can see visually that is correct. So insert, recommend the chart. Let's use that one. So there we go. Okay. Now the beauty of this is you can change these parameters. Let's say I want to start from 100 and decline at 20% per annum. I just need to rerun the code. Okay, so I'm going to go here and rerun it. There we go. So from 100 and starts declining at 20% per annum already. Okay, so there we go. Very simply, we created some VBA code using ChatGPT to do what we wanted to do. Okay, now this VBA in Excel. Now everyone seems to be loving Python these days. So how about we create a Python code now? So we go here and we're going to prompt. Every time I click on that, I create a new chat instance, by the way, and those chat instances are historically saved into this left panel so you can go back to them. Okay, now the prompt is create a Python script. Increase this so you can see. Create a Python script that asks the user for the initial rate in million scaff a day and the decline rate in % per annum, and generates a production profile plot and generates a production profile plot in million scaff a day for the first 10 years using the exponential decline formula. Okay, so while I was reading, I hit the submit so you could start analyzing and trying to get the code so we don't waste time. And it's producing the code. And when it finishes the code, it's going to be reading instructions to how to use it. And I need to run this code. So I know how I'm going to run it, but if you don't know, you can actually ask how to run this code. Right? and then it's going to give you exactly a step-by-step, or, if you know your way around VS Visual Studio Code or Google Colab to run on the cloud using Google infrastructure. I mean, all of those things are viable alternatives, and you can get instructions to run any of those. For now, I'm just going to bring my VS Code. I'm going to create a new file, a new Python file. So it's empty, and I'm going to bring the code that ChatGPT created for me. So copy that code, and I'm just going to paste that code, and I'm just going to run it. Now, to run it, I click there, and it's going to ask me for a name. So OPA test 1. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to ask the not convert string to float. There's a problem with the something happened. Did I copy correctly the code or not? Python file, generate production profile, run it, test 2. So enter the initial production rate, which is exactly what I asked it to do. Like, ask the user for 2 inputs. Initial production, let's use the same as we use in the Excel example, and then enter the declined in percent per annum, 20%. And there we go. So now via Python, we managed to generate a piece of code and generate the production profile using the exponential decline formula, which is what we wanted. Now, if you noticed, I'm showing you how you can leverage ChatGPT to generate code, which multiplies your capabilities manyfold, but you don't need to know how to code Python, how to code VBA. I haven't done any editing on this stuff. Obviously, it helps for you to realize quickly if you need to change a variable, things like that. But the bottom line is this can get you going very quickly with generating useful code that you can leverage on to multiply your productivity. Now, let's go to another example where we're going to create some HTML code for a simple web page. Okay, so let me just bring this prompt again and go back to ChatGPT. Here we are going to create a new chat, and I'm going to ask, create an HTML code for a simple web page that asks for 2 inputs, inflation and discount rate. Okay. So sure, I can provide you with a simple HTML code for a web page, and that's it. It's spitting out the code. And what I'll do is I will open a notepad to write that code in. I'm going to delete that previous code that I have. Is it done yet? That's pretty long. I think it's putting a lot of formatting into this one. That's, although I didn't ask, we're obtaining 2 input fields. Let's say what we got. So copy that, and I'm just going to paste. I have no idea what it spit out. I do not know about HTML. I can figure out a few things, but I don't mind. I'm just going to save that as let's say OPA test3.html. And what I'll do now is I'm going to go to my OPA test. That's where the file is. It's an HTML, so I'm going to double click on it. And there we go. It created a web page very quickly off of that code. It did give it a bit of formatting, put it in the center of the page, it gave it a title, it bolded, created a button. So all of those things were done by that piece of code, exactly with the 2 inputs that I asked in the prompt, inflation rate and discount rate. Okay, now how about we go here and try to troubleshoot some codes. For example, let's go to that very notepad and let's move some silly thing. I mean, what can we do? Let's just delete that curly bracket. That's it. Simple as that. And I think this should be able to find that error. So I'm going to copy the entire code, and I'm just going to ask troubleshoot this code. And I'm going to paste that entire block of code, and I'm going to submit that prompt. So will it be able to find that error, which was just a simple, I didn't know, don't even remember when I did it. I deleted one of those curly brackets somewhere, right? Will it be able to find that minute error in the code? Well, there you go. It's not properly closed with a closing bracket. So this is a very simple example on an HTML snippet. You can do it obviously on anything, on a Python script, on VBA, any programming language. You can bring it and ask it to troubleshoot it, and you will get the answer. So extremely powerful. Now, let's jump onto some data analytics. Let's get out of coding for a minute, and let me bring this PoroPerm Excel here. Now, this is a table that contains 3 columns. I have fascist, porosity, and permeability. Let's say this is data sets you got from your physicist or your geologist, and it's sitting there. And as you can see, it's a very simple table. Again, you can, guess that how I created the data set. I created this synthetically using ChatGPT, indeed. But let's say this is a real data set, and I have fascists, porosity, and perm in an unsorted way. So fascists are all over the place, A, C, B, poro, perm. Okay, so what I want to do is to ask ChatGPT, I'm just going to throw the data set at ChatGPT, and I'm simply going to ask, can you recognize anything here? Can you get any insights? So let me show you, just to save time, what I've done there on the chat that I got saved, and that is called fascist data insights. That's, you can give names to these things, rename, right? So I gave it that name, so I know I could come back quickly to it, and this is what I've done. So basically the prompt is, can I get insights? Again, I had a typo there. I wanted to write, can I get insights on this data set? I didn't write can, I wrote gen by mistake. It doesn't matter, it figures it out. Okay, so can I get insights on this data set? And I pasted the whole thing. I just pasted this, right? And when you paste that, you can see on the interface both just plain text format, the whole thing, and a bit of a visually appealing table. So that's what happens inside the interface when you just paste that table. Okay, and this is the output. The data set you share appears to represent different rock fascists characterized blah 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 blah. It defines porosity, I don't care about that. Then it tells you fascist A generally has lower porosity and perm, fascist B has a wide range of permeability. So it gives you some insights on each fascist in terms of the poro-perm relationships. And then it tells you more. The insights one might be looking could include correlation between poro and perm within each fascist and blah, 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 blah. So then I followed up, can you find a distinct poro-perm relation per fascist type and produce a K versus poro graph with each fascist in a different color? And there you go. We have our fascists in different color codes, and we have our perm versus porosity cross plots on a per fascist basis. Now, obviously, I could have done this myself, but this is just about testing the capabilities of ChatGPT. Now, mind you, all I did was to just copy and paste the entire data set and ask for insights without sorting, without giving any further indications, nothing at all. Now, for the sake of just testing things, I did this manually, obviously. I actually did this upfront to generate the synthetic data set itself and to come up with something meaningful and to test ChatGPT, but this is what it looks like. Precisely, you have fascists now sorted A, B, C, and D, color-coded, and that's our poro-perm crossplot, permeability, log perm as functions of porosity. So very interesting. Obviously, it would be great to stretch this data analysis and data insights further with more complex data sets. But this is for me to give you a flavor of the capabilities you could exploit with this tool. Now, a couple of other examples that I want to show you. One is to leverage Power Query and inbuilt Excel capabilities. Now, for example, let me bring you to this file here, which has a pressure profile and these scroll bars. Now, this is a pressure profile as constructed from the infinite radial flow equation. And all these are scroll bars. The user can come and play and drag these things around and see how the pressure profile changes with these parameters. For example, that's permeability. The higher the permeability, the shallower the drawdown, the less drawdown you need to produce the same rate, and the deeper the radius of investigation in red. So the higher the perm, the further you can look into the reservoir and the less drawdown that you need. Same with rate, for example, the higher the rate, the deeper the drawdown. Over time, the profile starts, very flat, and over time it reaches deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's a very cool tool to have. You can build yourself this tool. If you don't know how to get around building a tool like this, you can actually ask for instructions. Now you do have ChatGPT, which is your friend, to give you those instructions. So let me go back, not to redo it again. Excel scroll bar, and the prompt is simple, okay? So you go here, I have an Excel file formula that is a time series. So you give the instructions. I'm not gonna read it again, but you ask exactly what you want. I want to build a scroll bar so I can drag and update the chart, whatever. So you word the prompt the way you see fit, and this is the output. And it's gonna give you, the step by step. The key instruction here is inside this stuff. If you don't know your way around Excel to build those tools, you can go to the developer tab, click on insert, and under form controls, choose the scroll bar, and then you configure the slider. So I know how to do this. I'm not going to read it all, but you can actually, if you don't know, you can read and follow step by step. So in this case, it tells you go to the developer tab, go to the insert, and under form controls, you find that scroll bar element, then you drag it, and then you need to configure that. So to configure it, you go under properties or format control, and then you give a minimum value, a maximum value, and the cell it will be linked to. Let's say it's that cell there, just click on it, X6, and let me just highlight that so you can see in red font, and then there's your element. It's linked to that cell. So I've done this example, the same process for all these parameters, and those are the cells that will be underpinning the formula that is graphed into this stuff. Everything else is just visual look for me to present this to people in presentation and things like that, to show the impact of each parameter on the rate of investigation and drawdown and the entire pressure profile. So that's pretty cool, right? Now, another example I want to show you is how to leverage Power Query. Now, I have this example here for type curves. This is a data set you might be familiar with. The format is a typical production profile per well. So you have a bunch of wells, you run the date on the first column, and then you have for each well a production profile. Now, what I want to do is to turn that data set into something like this. This is a chart. It's a pivot chart indeed that is connected to those two sliders. And also this is a table. It's a pivot table also connected to those sliders, and the user can come here and just click away the wells they want to display on the chart and on the table, which updates on real time as you click on these buttons. So, well, you can select one well, you can select multiple wells with the control keystroke, or you can select a range of wells just dragging. And the table and the chart update automatically. Same with the time. You want to focus on a specific time period or the entire time range. Okay, so I want to create this stuff. Now, this isn't the time to go deep into how to get around performing this task in Power Query. I have already done that. I created a tutorial, which is available on the Crowdfield store. You can download it for free and follow step by step exactly how to get around performing a task like this, which is very, very handy, especially for non-technical people who just like to click on buttons. Okay, what's the well one production, what's the well, etc. Right? So what I want to show you today is that this is achieved using Power Query, as I was mentioning. And Power Query is, let me just open the queries panel. Again, I'm not going to get into details, so don't worry if you can't follow precisely this stuff. But what I want to show you is this. In Power Query, basically, what you have is, let me close in the meantime, some other files just to save some memory. And okay, I can't say because it's open this one. What Power Query does is basically it records a series of steps you apply on your database, and you can go back in time. So this is the first source data table. which is the one that I showed you on the first step, and then I'm doing things to the data set. So I'm changing the type to numbers because it was recognized as text. Then I'm pivoting because what I want to do is to have a huge ginormous table to build pivot chart on tables. And then I'm renaming those two to their proper names, which are well and rate. Okay, that's it. So what I want to do now is, let's say that I want to add an additional column. An additional column is, I want to multiply by 1,000 this column. So I can express the rate not in millions SCF a day, but in thousands SCF a day, so MCF a day. So I want to do that, and I want to do that in Power Query. So I don't want to mess around with my original Excel table. Now this is the beauty of building data models and using Power Query to build pivot charts on tables. You don't mess around with the source data. You don't change the formatting. You don't add columns. Nothing, right? So everything is done inside. That's the beauty of it. So you can ask ChatGPT for instructions on how to add a new column, but also, and this is what I want to show you, you can see all of these steps are turned into a piece of code. You can see here. You can bring that code to ChatGPT and ask, add a new column to multiply the preceding column by 1,000. And then it's going to spit out a code. So I've done that already. So just for the sake of saving time, this is what I've done. So let me go to the top. So I've pasted that piece of code, which is very long because it's horizontal here. You don't see, but it's written to the right. So all the wells are there inside. So that's why you see a long block of text here. So all I've done is I pasted that code, that whole thing, I just copied and pasted that there and added the prompt. Add a step to this code to add a new column which multiplies the gas rate by 1,000. Name it QG MCF a day. And then I paste it, right? And this is the output that I got. I got that code. So I'm just gonna copy that. I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna replace all that code by the code that ChatGPT gave me. Okay, I'm gonna do done. Have a look at this section. When I click done, there's gonna be one extra step that added the column that I asked, and that's it. It was added here, QG MCF a day, exactly what I needed. Right, so very powerful stuff, guys. Again, you don't need to be a guru in programming or understanding any of this stuff, but as long as you know what you want, you can just ask for instructions and follow those instructions step by step. You can multiply manifold your capabilities. Right, now, I've shown you a few examples that you can think of any related tool. Like, I think, for example, if you're a reservoir engineer, P on Z plots of pressure gradients to determine fluid contacts, rel perms, decline curve analysis, IPRs or VLPs, poro-perm cross plots, economic models, financial dashboards, I mean, etc. Anything, right? The bottom line is you can get guidance from ChatGPT on the step-by-step, or on generating code, or on troubleshooting code. You don't need to be an expert. Now you can leverage ChatGPT to get guidance and get very, very powerful capabilities. Okay. Now let me close a few of these things because I want to save some memory. It's becoming a bit slow. You can notice. Don't save. Let me close it down. Close it down. We already saw that. We already saw that as well. Production decline, yeah, we saw that. Now what I want to do is another classic use case that you might be interested in is in automating report generation. So here I have an example where I have a synthetic table again created. This is just a fake table created using ChatGPT again, where I have 4 wells. You know, this could be a core description table, for example, of sorts. This is a very simplistic one, so don't worry about any of this. But I have the well name, top, bottom, fascist type, and description. Okay, so what I want to do is to create a Word document, which is a report of all this stuff that you have in your Excel database. So let me go back here, and this is what I've done. Instead of redoing it, just to save time, I'll show you what I've done. I, again, did a screenshot of the table, I paste that screenshot here and ask, create an Excel macro to generate a Word document with 4 sections, 1 per row in the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4 wells. You can see from the image, again with a typo there, you can see from the image the row numbers and the columns the data is in. Row 3 has the headers, so you need to be precise with what you're given, which you should use to appropriately label in the row. Again, in proper wording there, but ChatGPT gets it, okay? So that's the code that I have. So I'm gonna copy that code and I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna bring my Visual Basic stuff and I'm gonna paste that code there. It's already pasted. And what I'll do is I'm going to run this code right now and it's generating it. Look at my taskbar there. A Word document appeared. It's open, it's generated. There we go. So we have 4 sections, 1 per well, 1, 2, 3, 4 wells, and each section has all the data if you move to the right in the columns, top, bottom, fascist, and description. Now, obviously, this is a very simple, ugly report with no formats, but you get the point, right? So you can create a Word template with proper formatting, letterhead, colors, logo, whatever, right? And you can fill that template from your Excel database with a simple macro that you didn't need to create yourself. ChatGPT creates that macro for you. I didn't need to edit anything in this code, didn't even need to read it. I just pasted the code and ran it. And voila, I have my Word document, which is the report that I wanted of this data set. Okay, so let me close this stuff again to save memory again. And let's move on to some other stuff now. Okay, I want to show you some imaging capability. So I have this chat saved here, DALL-E images. And this is a fun topic, right? So now you have inside of the ChatGPT interface image generation capability. This is fairly new. It just came about not long ago. Before you needed to get outside of ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT actually leverages DALL-E, also developed by OpenAI, same developer as ChatGPT. So you can prompt away inside of ChatGPT. In this case, I just prompted image of geologists looking at a mountain with sedimentary layers, something like that. This is a very simple prompt, not too deep. And actually you can create a few outputs if you're not happy with the first one, and those are stored now. So you can see here the 3 examples that it generated for me. Now, it doesn't matter that it's not the best quality. I didn't iterate on the prompt, but you get the point. You can start iterating and converge to the file, to the image you actually want. But this is not the best, right? So when it comes to image generation, the king is called Midjourney. It's not DALL-E inside ChatGPT. And Midjourney, you might have heard already that name. Midjourney is by far the winner when it comes to image quality generation. So Midjourney, you can access that on a Discord server. So here I have my own personal server where I've been experimenting with image generation, and you might have seen a few of these on my LinkedIn page or on my blog posts. So this is where I create images for my content strategy and everything that I've been posting and creating. So you can see the image quality is pretty high. It's amazing. It's really good. And also you can have a look around, this is the Midjourney server, where you can see what people are doing, man. I mean, people, this is really cool stuff across the board, for all sorts of use cases, like book covers, presentation, postcards, artwork, blog posts, websites, flyers, billboards. I mean, you name it. I mean, there's always need for cool images, and people are doing amazing stuff. So actually, you can go into this rabbit hole and never get out of this stuff. It's really cool and fun. So in order for us to just move on, let me go back to ChatGPT and show you other image capability, which is not to do with image generation capability. Now, this is image recognition capability. So have a look at this one. I just pasted an image of a few workers in a rig, and I asked outline safety hazards in this picture. That's it. I just pasted the image. I'm not generating an image. I'm asking stuff about an image. And there we go. So personal protective equipment, ergonomics, high pressure lines, and blah, 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 blah. So amazing. Now, what is this that picture of? It didn't tell me what it was. It just gave me that. What is the picture of? The image shows workers on an old drilling rig engaging in drilling operation. Now, you know, it's fairly smart to recognize, oh, this is a drilling rig, an old drilling rig. I mean, amazing stuff. Okay, now, this is an extremely fun topic, as I was saying, and the landscape of AI imaging tools is evolving at an incredibly fast pace. So if you're interested in learning how to use these platforms, I created a course which is available on my website, and it's a free email course over the course of 5 emails, spaced out over a couple of weeks, so you don't get swamped. So you will get 1 email every 3 days, and I walk you through all of these tools, how to generate cool images, how you access these tools, and how they compare to one another, how to generate, how to analyze, how to edit. I didn't have time to go into image editing. You can, you know, how to create cool avatar for yourself, things like that. Right? So I cover the whole thing. It's really fun, really interesting, and it gives you a pretty good flavor of the capabilities of these platforms. So have a look at my website. It's free again. It's an email course, and it goes over 5 emails spread out over a couple of weeks. Okay. Now, I want to quickly move in the short time that I have left. I want to quickly move on to the no-code space. Now, what is no-code? In a nutshell, it's all about creating applications. Think of websites, apps, workflows or processes, automations, anything, without having to write code. No code. That's the whole point, right? Now, in the past, for example, you needed to hire a web developer agency to build a simple website, and they would charge you $10,000 or $20,000, depending on the complexity of the site, right? Today, you can do it yourself for peanuts using no-code tools. It's incredible. So what I want to do right now in the short time that I have is to demonstrate a simple use case. I want to create a form to ask you guys right now live ideas, right? And that form is going to embed it inside a web page on my website, okay? And I'm going to do that without writing a single line of code. This is the demo that I want to do right now. So to do that, the first thing I need to do is to create the form. And to do that, I'm going to introduce you to a tool called Airtable, which is amazing. It's a cloud-based database. It has a similar feel to an Excel spreadsheet. You know, I already pre-created a table. I have name, email, and idea description. This is what I want to ask you guys. So this is a database that I want to build. And I want to build actual ideas so I can take those ideas and produce content around those ideas, produce cool tools, and start sharing stuff with the community, right? So this is the table that I want to fill. So how do I go about getting your ideas into this table? I can send you an email asking you, it's a mess, right? So I want to turn this into a visually appealing form. And Airtable offers this tool that turns that into a form view. So I do not need to create a separate entity. This is exactly the same table. It's only displayed as a form view, right? Very simple like that. So you can see the exact same fields, name, email, and ID description, but now it's presented in a form view. I can put a title to that form, and I can put a description to that form. And I can go further and add a cover image or a logo. It doesn't matter because I'm going to embed it in my website with that branding. So I don't care too much at this stage. So that's it, that my form has been already created. Now I want to show submit another response button after a while, or show a new blank after 5 seconds. Yes, I want to remove the Airtable branding. That's it. So I'm ready with the form. Form is ready. So now I want to share that form. And I want to embed that form into my website. So I didn't need to create any piece of code, but Airtable is offering me, okay, this is the actual snippet of code that you need to embed in your website. So I'm just gonna copy that, and I'm gonna bring it to my website. Okay, I'm just gonna copy, and I'm gonna go to my website. Now my website, where do I want to put that form? So this is my website. You may have seen it. So I did some recent changes, so have a look around, but I'm not going to go over it right now, but I want to bring you to this tab, which right now, all it has is an invitation for you to subscribe for free to my newsletter, where I will be discussing topics like today's in more detail, right? So I'm calling it the Oil and Gas AI Wave, right? I'm going to be producing content and distributing directly into your inbox all this stuff, like the stuff that I'm sharing today. Now, I want to add that form below here, okay? So this is the web page. You can see, go to the click right now, see it. So I'm going to paste this link right now in the chat for you to click on it and open that. So open that. This is all you will see. This is a published page. It's public. It's already there. So I'm going to go to my web builder, right? And this is the page. So these are all the pages. Don't worry about this where I build my web, right? So all of these are the pages in my web. By the way, I built this whole thing with no code, right? And you will see here how I add by basically just dragging boxes and typing. So that's the page that I want to edit, the newsletter page, which is the page that you are seeing here live. That's the page you are seeing. It's called newsletter. That's my builder. And I want to add at the bottom here, at the bottom down here, a title and the form. So I'm going to add a title. So I'm going to select the element where I want to add a heading. And I'm just going to bring the title that I put in the form. I'm going to repeat it, AI and no code idea bank. Simply, I dragged a heading block. I typed in, I haven't written any piece of code. I'm going to add another element, which is the script that I want to bring. So that block is called embed block, and it's asking, bring the code you want inside of that block. So again, that's the code that I want. So I'm gonna copy and paste inside of this HTML embed code editor. I didn't need to create this. I don't need to know what this is, nothing. Airtable created that snippet of code for me. Just bring it to the website. That's it, it's done. I'm gonna publish. There we go. Now, wait a couple of seconds for it to finish publishing. Okay, one more step. It's done. So now go again, guys, and refresh your browser if you clicked on that link that I sent in the link. I'm gonna go back myself. That's the page that I had already. I'm going to refresh my browser on that page. And now you can see that my newsletter page has, same as before, the invitation for you to subscribe for free. But now I have this section where I have the form. So now what I want you is to actually fill the form. Please do that. And I want to show you live how this database here starts to get filled with your submissions. Please go ahead and fill that form. And I want to see live here, these fields populated with your submissions right now, live as we speak. So again, go ahead. I'm gonna submit one as an example, Alan, and I put my email address there, gmail.com. And idea description, Python script for financial dashboard as an example. So I'm going to submit that. And thank you for submitting. And I'm going to go back to the database. And there you go. It's already sitting in my database. Now, come on, guys, please, anybody, any submission, even a dummy one. All I want to is to show you that in 5 minutes, we created a form, we publish it on a website, and that allows me to start getting real-time data from anyone. Now, anybody is able to fill the form? Are you guys hearing me at all? Hello? Come on, anyone, please fill that form. All I want is to see these tables start populating from anyone other than me. Okay, no interest, a bit disappointing. Not to be able to show that it's receiving live data from other users.
Do you mean the form of subscription?
No, this form here. this form that I just created. So all I want is to demonstrate that we brought a form.
You can
the
send the
site.
link in the chat.
It's there. That's the one that I pasted
Yeah,
right above.
okay. Yeah, just
So if you go to that link, now you will be able to see that form. And all I want to show you is that very quickly, we managed to embed a form so we can get data from users. And you see there, somebody submitted something, and you can start populating a database with no sweat. I mean, that's the whole thing. Instead of going back and forth with emails or asking for stuff. Now, in this case, this is just an example, but you could, for example, if you need data from workmates or colleagues or people in different companies in different countries, going back and forth with emails or any other mechanism is slow, it's painful. Now, you can actually create your database straight away in the format you need it, turn this into a form, and then you can start getting data, with no sweat. So your database is already created as opposed to you bringing data yourself, into it from other places, copying and pasting from emails, things like that, right? So there you go. So, okay, great. Thank you for that. All I wanted is to show you that with me doing absolutely nothing, I've already started to populate a database that interests me, okay? Just by putting a form, which I created with no code. Okay, so we're getting past the time, guys, and that's all I have actually to share with you today. Let me just recap very quickly what we've covered today. So we saw ChatGPT, we saw capabilities in writing, proofreading, translating, summarizing. We saw how to create code and VBA in Python, HTML as examples, how to troubleshoot code, how to get guidance to leverage applications like Excel, Power Query, which is just one step before Power BI, for example. We saw some data analytics capability, how to generate synthetic data sets, how to extract insights from data sets, how to automate report generation. We saw some image capability, image generation, image recognition. We briefly touched on the no-code space with an example on how to embed a form inside a website to collect users' ideas without writing code. So we covered a lot of ground today. Again, this was meant for me to give you a flavor guess, to spark your appetite. I certainly hope that it did spark your curiosity. We barely scratched the surface in today's intro session. There are literally thousands of use cases across domains and disciplines for all kinds of tasks, databases, libraries, project management, workflows, or you name it. So think of all the possibilities here. So before you go, I just have one offer for you today. If you are interested in learning more of all of this stuff in detail, to future-proof yourself with these skills, I'm creating in-depth courses to solve real problems, right? So I really need ideas from you guys to tailor this to actual problems that people are facing in the industry, right? So to do that, before creating those courses, I'm inviting a few of you to join a pre-course group. So this is a cohort, and this is the one that I have here. So this is a cohort. Again, it's an exclusive group of people just to get real use cases, just to get your feedback on how to tailor these courses to solve specific industry problems. Now, it's limited to 20 spots because it becomes unmanageable otherwise. I want to provide, a personal experience to those who join, and this is going to be only for $29. But it's going to be capped at 20 spots. Now, you will get full access to all the courses and materials that arise from that course creation process, everything, templates, code snippets, everything, right? And those courses, once ready, they will be sold for a few $100, both in our store here in Crowdflow and also via the Oba Energy site. So you can see the price range is in the few $100, right? So I'm inviting a few guys, 20 spots, to collaborate with me in the course creation process. You get access to all materials, but I'm only capping it at 20. So if you're keen, just be quick and sign up. The cohort is on the website here in this link. I'm going to send those links via SM to all of you guys, all the list of attendees. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. just a few things to wrap it all up again. I have that free AI imaging course. You can sign up for free on the website. I invite you once more to submit this form to subscribe to the newsletter, which I will keep providing content around cool AI and no-code tools, and you will get that straight in your inbox. This is also for free. I already described the cohort opportunity for 20 people only at $29. And the final thing that I would like to ask you as a favor is just to please spend 10 seconds to provide me with just a one-liner feedback. I'm going to send the link again via ESAM to all of you. Literally, it's just 1 second to come here and provide me a one-liner feedback. This is just for me. This is just for me to improve on the future content. This is different to the feedback survey that ESAM will circulate for OPA. Okay, so that's it from me today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, OPA, for organizing. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.
Alan, thank you so much. Simply, this is incredible and amazing. Thank you for sharing this knowledge with us. As Alan just mentioned, that I will be sending a feedback link. Please fill this form. This will help us to improve in the upcoming webinars. I'm sending it now. So please take a moment to fill in this feedback form, and also
I'm just gonna paste in the chat right now.
Yes.
Just for redundancy, all those interesting points that I was just closing with, all those links, the AI imaging course for free, the free newsletter submission, the cohort link, and the feedback link. I'm also going to ask ESAM please to submit these to all whenever you send that OPA survey yourself.
Sure.
Again, thank you very much for organizing. Thank you all for tuning in. If you do have any questions, just connect with me. I know I went past the time and I need to rush out now myself. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you again, everyone. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you want to collaborate or if you have further questions or anything related to this topic. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Alan. Thanks everyone for joining, and hope to see you all in the upcoming webinar.